address by the Commanding General, Pacific Ocean Areas.
Never again in the lives of Americans will any day mean so much as this day of victory in Europe, which ends forever the menace of Hitlerism to all free-loving peoples. The armies of the United Nations have stuck together through thick and thin, with a determination to beat the Germans that was only possible because the men in ranks who do the fighting and face the daily dangers knew that their cause was just. The victory, however, is only half won. Now America must turn its face to the Orient and finish the job so as to give us not only victory but peace. It would be a gross breach of faith to our gallant young Americans who gave their lives in Europe and on the Pacific Islands, and a grosser breach of trust to the next generation of Americans if we didn't pitch in and assure quickly an absolute and unconditional defeat of Japan. The Japanese must suffer a complete military disaster if there is to be a lasting peace in the Orient.
At 0200 on 1st May, elements of the British 50th Indian Parachute Regiment prepared aboard C-47s at Akyab Island. Final check is made of the equipment. Objective of the mission is to support a seaborne invasion of Rangoon. The paratroopers have as their target the anti-aircraft guns along the river at Elephant Point, a few miles south of the city, near where the seaborne troops are to land. "40 planes participate in the first phase of the airborne attack. Planes head south along the Burma coast. The target is 300 miles from Akyab. Over the target at Elephant Point. Only a small rear guard of approximately 40 enemy troops are encountered, and all are quickly wiped out. Meanwhile, 2 days earlier at Rumri Island, troops of the 26th Indian Division board LSIs in preparation for the attack on Rangoon from the sea. The troop ships in convoy on their way to a rendezvous preparatory to the landing. The crews and troops are briefed as the convoy approaches the point of rendezvous. At dawn on 3rd May, LCAs move up the Rangoon River. At 0715, the first landing is effected on the west bank of the river, several miles north of Elephant Point. There's no opposition, bearing out reports by Allied flyers that for the past week the Japs had been abandoning Rangoon. A reconnaissance plane covering the landing. A heavy rain prior to the landing turns the riverbank into a thick layer of mud. LCTs arrive and field pieces are unloaded. The deep mud makes it difficult to move the equipment. A 3rd Battalion is put ashore above Creek Point on the east bank of the river, still closer to the city. The troops advance toward Rangoon without encountering the enemy. At the same time, near the harbor, minesweepers clear the waters. An enemy mine is detonated. In the afternoon, LCAs loaded with other elements of the 26th Indian Division and accompanied by various naval vessels move up the river past the initial beachheads for a landing along the city's waterfront. Defenses along the river appear abandoned, and installations in the inner harbor remain intact. Burmese citizens welcome the Indian troops. The port is found in good condition, and early reports indicate that it can receive cargo ships within a few days. Residents of the city reveal that the Japs had begun evacuation of Rangoon 3 weeks prior to the Allied arrival. Only a few enemy stragglers are found in the city. Natives flock to the waterfront to greet the troops. Troops from the initial beachheads established down the river reach Rangoon on the following day. Capture of Burma's largest city liberated 1,400 Allied prisoners of war, half of them British and American. Aboard the USS William C. Ralston on a supply mission to Iwo Jima. She's loaded down with vital replacements for the men who are holding the strategic island in the volcano group. The beaches hum with activity as Seabees unload the Ralston's cargo onto LCTs. Landing of supplies on Iwo presented the Navy's beachmasters with one of their toughest problems of the Pacific campaigns. In addition to having no harbor, Iwo's beaches are surfaced with soft ash deposited by the Suribachi volcano on the southern tip of the island. As the rolling stock is disgorged, one of the new bulldozers goes into action and tries to smooth the way for mobile units which will follow. But many vehicles get bogged down immediately on hitting the beach. The only way to get them out is to hitch onto one of the dozers. Meanwhile, supplies are moved inshore for unpacking and distribution to the Iwo garrison. Construction work continues on the island, which is rapidly transformed into an advanced American base, halfway between Saipan and Tokyo. Gun revetments are emplaced as part of Iwo's defensive ring. Although organized Jap resistance ended in mid-March, the mopping-up operations go into April with reports of occasional contact with small enemy groups. Air defense of the island is under Brigadier General Ernest Moore. Preparing Motoyama Airfield No. 2 for emergency landings of superforts returning from raids on Japan. Airfield No. 1 became operational for U.S. planes only 7 days after D-Day, 19th February. Iwo-based P-51s taking off to escort Saipan-based B-29s on a Tokyo mission. Near Japan's coast, enemy planes surprised at our fighter escort attacked without plan. Over Tokyo, the superforts dropped 2,000-pound general-purpose bombs. $520 tons are dropped on industrial targets, and results are reported as excellent. Iwo from the air as the Mustangs return from the 7-hour mission. Trouble causes 50 of the superforts also to land on Iwo, and here one of them is being escorted into the base. Had Iwo not been in our hands, many of the superforts would have been ditched before reaching Saipan. Flak damaged a number of the big planes, but caused no serious crew injuries. A superfort receives a new engine. Gassing up a repaired plane in preparation for a takeoff. The superforts return to Saipan.